Hello everyone, Jean here, making an update video of my red Dell apples that I started from seeds. Now, I started these, well, a couple of them I started September 5th, and the rest I started August 25th. So it's less than 2 months, and a little more than a month, and they are doing great. Look at the growth of these things, and this is the original container that I started them from seedlings. And as you can see, they need to grow, so they need more room for the roots to spread out, and definitely they need to be separated so they don't have to compete for nutrients, space, and all that good stuff. I already transplanted 4 of them. It is just your standard plastic cups, and it's a decent size, so there's room for the roots to grow, and it's not so big to where I have no room for them. So eventually when they get bigger, I will have to transplant them in a bigger container, but for now, something, a decent size that, I have room to put them, with the rest of my seed growing plants. So now look at the leaves. The leaves are great. I love the shape of the leaves, as you can see right here. And they are all like really doing great. As you can see, they're constantly producing this new set of leaves. So, which is a really great sign to show that they are liking their environment, they're liking their container, they're liking the water. So I don't need to add any fertilizer unless I see a stress or anything like that. But so far I haven't used any kind of fertilizer on my plants. So I'm just crossing my fingers. Hopefully they all remain that way. So, but we'll see now. I left these right here in this small container just to show you that they were like that, and that's when I decided, just looking at it, and you can see the plants are just overhanging, and some of them weren't really growing as fast as the rest. There's many factors to that, but it could be, the seed could be wasn't that strong, but also, this one is competing with the rest of them. So that means it's time to transplant them. So I will go ahead and transplant these 3. And I guess I will record me transplanting them. I do want to add that when you're making your own container, make sure you do poke a hole at the bottom, because you do need good drainage for your plants, because you don't want the roots to just, I guess soaked in water and soil. I mean, if you're soaking it in water, that's fine, but if you have soil and water, you don't want it to just sit there. Your roots or your plants will actually start to decompose. You really don't want that. So I recommend you, if you're not buying already made pots, just make sure you do put holes at the bottom. So here we go. I already placed some soil in this container, and what I'm doing is kind of making a little indentation in the middle, because that's where the plant's gonna go. So what you want to do is, when you take the plant from the old containers, you just want to rotate it, because you kind of just want to remove the soil, and then gently just sideways. There you go. There's some roots at the bottom, you can see it right there. And now what I'll do is just kind of separate the soil and separate the plant. And the great thing about having a plastic container for my table is I'm making a lot of mess, but it's not ruining the table beneath, which is great. So what I'm doing is, I guess I'm getting the biggest one and just kind of placed it right there. And you do want it, big truck. What you want to do is that you do want room for your roots to grow. You don't want it very deep and add soil, because the roots do grow down. So you do want to have enough room for the roots so it doesn't become root bound so fast. So now you just want to place on top, and gently, carefully just put some soil around it. And don't press it yet. You just kind of want to put soil around it while holding the plant. And then when you're done, that's when you start to gently just pat it down, so your plant becomes stable. And it'll start to spread its roots eventually. But that's for that one plant. I will go ahead and show you my other plants. So here they are, all transplanted, and waiting for them to grow out of this container so I can transplant them to a bigger container, but I'm not in a hurry. I have a lot of plants, but they are just awesome to watch grow. You know, every week they're like constantly just keep getting taller and new set of leaves, and the leaves keeps getting bigger, and so they're doing great. Now I just have to water these, so let me go ahead and water some, just enough. And the water will just sink down to the roots. So yes, these are my red Dell apples that I started from seeds, and thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.